And welcome back to Chicago Bulls Insider. Today we are doing a free agency update around the Chicago Bulls. We'll be talking about the update around Josh Giddey, and then also too the update around Coby White and Dosunmu and the latest trade buzz there. Next, we're going to be talking about NBA Summer League. As the Chicago Bulls release their NBA Summer League roster, we're going to be talking about what to look for as the NBA Summer League gets set to start here soon for the Chicago Bulls. And so before we go ahead and we jump into all of that, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like modest Buzelis slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. So make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's jump into it. Let's start with the free agency update around the Chicago Bulls. This is also going to include the latest trade buzz around the Chicago Bulls too. And so let's start with Josh Giddey. And so right now, at the time of this recording, there is no new deal for Josh Giddey. We left off with the fact that he could come back under his qualifying offer of $11.1 million. Don't really anticipate that happening, but it could happen. But right now, it's a wait and see. And so we'll see what this contract looks like as far as the length, and then also to what it looks like as far as the per year salary for Josh Giddey. And so I definitely think that the Chicago Bulls want to get something done with Josh Giddey. I think that Josh Giddey wants to come back to the Chicago Bulls. And so we'll see what the negotiations ultimately look like here with Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls. But right now, no real update around Josh Giddey. And so next, let's go ahead and let's talk about a couple players that have been in the trade rumors lately, and that is Coby White and Dosunmu. And so remember, we last left off with Ayo and just talking about how there was a lot more chatter around Dosunmu than Coby White. And so right now, haven't heard too much of anything else around both of these players. I think that this is something that we're constantly going to hear throughout this year because both players are on team-friendly deals. They're on expiring contracts here, and the Chicago Bulls are going to have to make a decision here because if you're going to keep them long-term, fine. You have to think about the fact that you are going to have to definitely pay a lot more when it comes down to going ahead and taking care of them on their next contract because their extensions, they've really outplayed those extensions. And we talked about this a little bit with the 140 rule. And so, with Coby White and also to Dosunmu, I'm not in the camp of trading either of those players, especially when it comes down to Coby White. I feel like that his role has changed so much during his time with the Chicago Bulls. And really the same can be said about Dosunmu. And I think that Coby White really started to find it again towards the end of the year. I thought that he did a terrific job playing alongside of Josh Giddey. And I think that both of those guys really did a terrific job as far as making adjustments once they went ahead and they moved on from Zach LaVine. And then also, too, there was a time where Vooch was out, too, as well. And so they had to make some adjustments to play well with Trey Jones and Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter, and these guys excelled. And so let's see what happens with Coby White moving into this year. I think that he's set to have a great year with it being a contract year, so to speak. I think that he's going to have an outstanding year, and the same for Dosunmu. So I think that even though he's coming off of the shoulder injury, I know he didn't shoot very well from downtown last season, and who knows if that's something that impacted him. But not to make any excuses, defensively, I think he's going to be dependent on a lot this season because there's the real chance that, look, if Patrick Williams falls down in the rotation some more, then I think that is naturally going to have to step up and take on some more defensive assignments for this team. He's been a one-man fast break, and I think that he's proven that he can definitely knock down shots. And so I think that him getting comfortable with the playing style, also too, just with the new adjustments here with Josh Giddey and Coby White, I think he's going to be super important for this team. And just from an identity standpoint between both of those players, you need that. I think they have that it factor that helps this team start to reach another level just with the way that they compete and the leadership role that they have both taken on. And so we'll see how this goes. But right now, very quiet around them. haven't seen another trade rumor around these guys right now. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and just jump into one last thing that the Chicago Bulls were linked to, and that is Jonathan Kuminga. And so I think that as time goes along, I think that the Jonathan Kuminga deal or a sign and trade possibility, I think, is kind of off the table. I think at this point in time, the Sacramento Kings I'm seeing that they have some strong interest in getting something done here with the Golden State Warriors. Now, we'll see what happens. Jonathan Kuminga is in the same situation as Josh Giddey. Have not seen that they've gone ahead and offered him a new contract as well. And then also, too, haven't seen any other teams offer Jonathan Kuminga anything. And so let's see what happens with that. I mean, there is the possibility, too, that the Golden State Warriors could go ahead, re-sign him, and then look to trade him in December. And so he's definitely one of those players that is still out there as a possible sign and trade. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to talk about the NBA Summer League here. And so, look, I love the NBA Summer League. I think that this is one of the more exciting times, especially if you're an NBA fan. I think that if you've ever got a chance to get out there, it's a great environment because you get a chance to see multiple games. You can see everybody's rookies, on their team or whatnot, and you could see them at a cost-efficient way. And so that's what I love about, heading out to that to the Vegas Summer League and seeing that, so for this year, when it comes down to the Chicago Bulls, I wanted to go ahead and we'll take a look at the roster as a whole, but I wanted to start with just what we're looking for from Pacific players. And so I want to start here with Manas Buzelis. And so with Manas Buzelis, I think that last year's Summer League was huge for him because I think that you got a chance to just see him. We already knew that he had confidence, right? But you got a chance for him to just get that runway for that confidence because this was a situation where he came in. It wasn't like he was playing immediately with stars or anything like that. The offense generally kind of ran through him. And I think he got a chance to kind of work on the things that were weaknesses for him, like with the 3-point shots and stuff like that. And I love the fact that he showed the confidence in competition to work on those things. And I think that that's what Summer League is all about. And so I don't think that we're necessarily going to see a whole bunch of Manas Buzelis. It's not like it was back in the day where you would see second-year players play extensively in the Summer League. But I think in the games that you do see Manas Buzelis play, I want to see what does he look like from a leadership standpoint, because I think that he is starting to become a bit more of a leader, especially when you look at some of the social media stuff around the Chicago Bulls with him going out there and kind of being the guide here for Lachlan, Olbrich, and then also too for Noa Essengue. Like, I think that, man, that is taking ownership and a leadership role. And so I think that Manas Buzelis is going to step a lot more into that in year two. Summer League is one of those ways to do it in competition form. And so I want to see him start to add a little bit more to his game as far as getting some more jump shots at the mid-range. I'd like to see him become even more comfortable shooting the ball from deep as well. And obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing just how much more crafty he's got over the summer with his bag as far as the step throughs and things like that, because make no mistake about it, the athleticism is going to be on display here with Manas Buzelis every time he's on the court. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some highlights from him. And so next, I think the next player that I'm looking forward to seeing, and really both players, is just our rookies. And I think that when you start to look at Noa Essengue, the thing that you'll hear about him the most is development, right? And so, with development, it's going to be this time in the Summer League that is important. And I think that, for him, he gets a chance, just like Manas Buzelis, to do a lot of different things. Like, there's not, Josh Giddey's not there, Coby White's not there. Like, it's you down there. And I think that this is a chance for him to be featured a lot more. And I love the fact that he will get a chance, hopefully, to play with Manas Buzelis. But more importantly, he gets a chance, to go against NBA competition. And I know it's the Summer League, but you got to think about it like this. Look, there are players that have been in the NBA. They've been bounced around with two-way contracts and things like that. So it's not just rookies going against rookies. And so we get a chance to see what he looks like against NBA competition. Now, granted, he did look well against Portland in his exhibition, I believe, last season. And so getting a chance to see him in the Summer League environment, looking forward to seeing that, because I want to see how versatile Noa Essengue is, because when we're talking about versatile, first of all, defensively, I want to see, does that same stuff that we've seen in the highlights flash? Because this is a player at 6'10" that looks like he can guard guards, he can guard forwards. Now, it's going to be a bit of a questions when you're talking about getting down on the block and then going against like 4s and 5s that want to back you down. Now, that is where I want to see that and see how he responds to that, because he's going to run into those situations in the summer league. So the versatility there. And then offensively, for Noah, it's going to be about, okay, one of the things that a lot of, scouts and things talk about with him is just the jump shot. And so let's see how comfortable he feels when defenses allow him to shoot the shot. Let's see what the mechanics and things look like there. I think the more comfortable he gets with things not working out, so that means embracing the failures that could happen in summer league, that's really going to ultimately help Noah get to his best self as a player. And so I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do from a versatile standpoint there, and the confidence, because I just talked about how with Modest Buzelis, he showed a lot of confidence. And so even if it didn't go well, you could not see that in Modest Buzelis. And so I want to see if we see that same type of fight here with Noa Essengue, because it's not always going to work out, but he's going to get a ton of minutes. We'll get a chance to see how good he is off ball, the cutting ability. Let's see how good he is in transition. Let's see if he can use that length to get the steals and things like that, and just see what he can do, because he's not going to be a player that I think is necessarily going to be like a pick and roll kind of player. But, let's see what happens as far as just what he looks like there on both ends of the floor. And so next, I think another player that a lot of us are going to want to see here is going to be it's going to be our second round pick here in Olbrich. I think that when you look at Lachlan Olbrich, I think that this is a player that, I want to see what his level of physicality is going to look like. I know he was picked 55 here for the Chicago Bulls. So it's shown that he has a little bit of footwork and craftiness there. And he'll definitely shoot the jump shot as well. And so just want to see, does that size show up? Does the physicality show up? Because I know that he's on a two-way contract. I get that. But just the fact that the Chicago Bulls don't really have the stability, at the center position and in the front court like that, I think that there is always the possibility that if somebody goes down, if somebody gets traded, then you're going to have to maybe look to see Lachlan Olbrich maybe step up there, And so let's see what happens with him. So he's another player that I'm looking forward to seeing. And then next, look, I think when it comes down to, I think a fan favorite, and then somebody that I think that a lot of people are going to get familiar with here, it's going to be this guy, Yuki Kawamura. And so he played for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was a two-way player, I think, for them. But, man, he is going to be exciting to watch, because I think he's a guy that plays hard, crafty passer, high basketball IQ. I saw one of his highlights where he did something that was reminiscent of what Scottie Pippen did, I believe, in the NBA Finals against the Suns. And Danny Ainge, he's got his back to the play, and then Pippen throws it off of him and goes up for the layup. And I think that he did that in the highlight. So I love the fact that he's a guy that has that basketball IQ, and he will definitely take chances like that. And so, between him and these young players that are going to be playing with him, I'm looking forward to seeing the Chicago Bulls have some highlights here in the summer league, but more importantly, looking to forward to see that. And then also too, I think another guy that I am looking forward to seeing here is Caleb Grill, because Caleb Grill, man, he can shoot the basketball. And so let's see what he does as well in NBA competition. And so if you are wanting to see when the games start, here's the schedule for the Chicago Bulls. It's going to be starting up here on July the 11th. And so these are the actual scheduled times. And then also too, I guess these are the networks where you can expect to see that. So don't know if that changes, but this is something that I got here off of Bleacher Nation. So definitely double check that when time comes. But July the 11th is when the Summer League is going to take place here for the Chicago Bulls. And there is going to be some Summer League action here. I believe this Saturday it's the California Classic, if I'm not mistaken. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking. What are you looking forward to seeing here in the NBA Summer League? Are you looking forward to seeing our rookies and what they look like, especially when it comes down to Noa Essengue and what he does as far as his versatility on the offense and the defensive end. Let me know what you guys are thinking with Modest Buzelis as he's set to get down there and play a little bit. And so we'll see how many games he actually plays. Then also, too, again, a guy I think he is going to be a fan favorite if he continues to play the way that he has been playing, and that is Yuki Kawamura. So definitely be looking for him, guys. And so anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.